Go. Okay. Well, we lost a video, so remember we promised this raw and uncut stuff, so here we go. We are going to be talking about how much paint to use when you're stenciling. So let's go back over here. You can see we just kept moving. We didn't even realize we lost video. So when you stencil, when you grab your paint, see that? Then you want to take it off the sponge. You want to have it smeared, but you don't want gobs. Too much paint, you're going to get you're going to get a bleeding underneath your stenciling. You're not going to get clear images. So we have a little bit of paint, and it's going to be a tapping motion. You can always go back and get more paint, but you'd be surprised how much paint this little sponge handles. That. Tap off some of that pink. I'm going to just go ahead and just run straight up alongside here. What's really cool when you're building layers like this, just to kind of keep moving. Lift your stencil and see what shows up. So over here where we first lost the video feed, you can see I started with the green, which was my small holes, and then I went ahead and I did it with my medium and then my large. So on this section where we just started, it was reversed. I happened to grab my medium and then added my small holes over the top. So you get these really great layering things starting. I'm going to go ahead and continue this line. Same thing, tap that off. You don't want a big gob. But when you bring this black now over these previous layers, you're still going to see some of that paint underneath, and that's what makes this stuff so cool. It's not a big, fat, solid gob of paint. I can get that if I want. But that has less depth in it than this one, because on this one you can still see the layers coming through the bottom. Laura's nodding. This is the first time she's seen stenciling, so she's kind of psyched about it. We were debating if we should come back to filming or if we should just go ahead and, just start playing in the paint. Some of the other cool things after you do your stenciling, you can even come back here with your paint color and just go right over the top of some of this stuff. This is how you start to create layers. White is a really great thing to do this with. Look at that, isn't that cool?
It's beautiful.
Okay, so because we have a gessoed surface, and I said you can control your paint, let me show you something else that's really neat. So I just laid some pink paint down here, just randomly, okay? And we've got the green triangles underneath that. I can come back in here with a regular baby wipe, and I can lift that wet paint off.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? So that's something that's really fun to play with.
Baby wipes are not just for babies anymore.
No, they're not. And I'm telling you, as great as they are for removing paint and stuff, I'm not sure I'd ever use them on my baby. After doing this, because I'm just like, I just don't think that it should be that,
Effective.
Yes, yes. Because there's been time, this paint is wet, so granted, you would think it'd be pretty easy to lift, but I've had times where I've gone back over layers that I didn't like, and I really scrubbed to get them off. Isn't that neat? Okay, so that is basically your stenciling and your layering. So when we come back over here to our book, how do we take this and start working on these painted pages? One of the things that I would say on it is the same way that you made these random layering marks, just go ahead and start doing the same thing over here. Black is going to be a very cool thing to bring big contrast of color. But I kind of want to get some dimensional shapes in here before I really start going in with the black. So I'm just going to randomly stencil in some shapes here. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now this is wet, so I don't want to lay it down too much. But I just want to go ahead and put some random shapes on here. I am all about just creating random layers. Now, in one of our previous videos we talked about there being continuity. This flap actually just carried over into this piece here. So one of the things I want to do is, rather than just leaving this thing hanging, I'm going to go back in here. I think I'm going to do this. And I'm going to take it all the way across. That was kind of a sloppy stencil job.
That's okay. It'll make the rest of us feel good.
See that? So now when we look at this page here, we just started a visual continuity between the layers. So this page is now going to flip. And it's open, so this piece disappears, but this piece remains. So that's kind of what you want to just do on this phase here on your journal. Just start laying some random pieces and start looking at maybe where things are starting to connect. Don't spend a lot of time with doing that because you will be adding